Hello again, my name's John. I'm a retired chef from the northeast of England in the UK, and welcome to my latest bread video. In this one I'll be making this fantastic large white sandwich loaf. It's very easy to do as it uses the no knead method, and with it being a no knead recipe, the only equipment you'll need is a large bowl and a 2-pound loaf tin. You can view the ingredients list and full written method for this recipe on the recipe page on my website. I'll leave links at the end and under the video, or just click on the eye icon top right of the screen. Before I go any further, I'd like to give a quick shout out to this week's Patreon and PayPal donators, and they are Maud Bergeron, Stringfellow Lloyd, Colin Lane, Luke Toes, Mark Spann, Robert Newbutt, Kenneth Carper, Jutta Schneider, Skip Deedon, Jeffrey Piper and John Harrison. And once again, please help support the channel by joining my Patreon appeal for as little as $2 per month, or make a one-off donation via my PayPal page. It really will help keep the channel going. Okay, like I said earlier, you'll need a 2-pound, that's a 900-gram loaf tin. The dimensions of the tin are on screen. Even though this is a good non-stick pan, it also needs to be well greased. I'm using a small knob of lard to do mine, but you can use shortening, butter or oil. And that's that job done. I'll set that aside until it's needed. Right, I'll start the recipe by adding the strong white bread flour to a warm bowl. And I'll quickly explain what I mean by strong white bread flour. It's flour that has a high protein count. If you check the ingredients list on the side of the flour bag, what you're looking for is 12 grams of protein per 100 grams of flour. And as you can see, this one contains 12.6 grams. That's the same as saying this bag contains 12.5% protein, which is more than strong enough for making bread dough with. Typically, all-purpose or plain flour only contain 10% protein, which is great for cakes, biscuits and pastries, but it's not strong enough for making bread with. Back to the recipe, and as I said at the start, I'm using a warm bowl, and this is how I warm mine. I simply fill it with hot water, let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then pour it out and dry it. For this style of bread, you need everything as warm as possible. Once your flour is in the bowl, add the salt and whisk that in. Now add the 7 grams, that's 2 teaspoons of dried yeast. I've already performed a test on this batch of yeast and it's fine. You may also want to test your yeast before starting the recipe. You can see how to test the yeast on my sandwich bread video. I'll leave a link in the description box below, or just click on the eye icon top right of the screen. For this recipe I'm using instant dried yeast. You may also use active dried yeast in exactly the same way. If you're using fresh yeast, you'll need 20 grams and simply dissolve it in the lukewarm water before adding it to the bowl. Now add the warm water followed by the oil. The temperature of the water should be around 40 degrees Celsius, that's 104 Fahrenheit. Now give that a good mix. I'll be using my wooden spoon handle to do mine, but you can use a stand mixer to do this part, but only until the ingredients come together. Remember, this is a no knead recipe. Right, that's as far as I can go with the spoon handle, so I'll finish off getting it together with my hands. Once it's all together, cover the bowl. I use a shower cap for this, and set your timer for at least 1 hour. This time may vary depending on the temperature of your kitchen. To give you an idea, my kitchen is at about 23 degrees Celsius, that's 73 Fahrenheit. Okay, I'll be back in 1 hour to see how it's doing. And after 1 hour, it's risen quite well for the first rise. Now I'll turn it out onto a floured surface and knock it back. This simply means to get all of the gas out of it. Right, it needs to go back into the bowl for another 30 minutes, and that's the price you pay for not kneading the dough at the start. What's happening with no knead recipes is that you're letting the yeast do the work for you. I firmly believe that the no knead method improves the taste and texture of the bread. It's a slower process, but in my opinion, it's well worth the extra time. Right, that extra 30-minute rise in the bowl is up, and the dough has just about doubled in size for the second time. Now I'll turn it out onto a floured surface again and knock it back once more. Once all the gas is out of the dough, I'll form it into an oval shape as shown and get it into the prepared loaf tin. You can press it down quite firmly into the tin. Now sprinkle a little flour over the dough, this will prevent the cloth from sticking. Now cover it with a clean, dry, lightweight tea towel or dishcloth and set your timer for 45 minutes this time. When there's only 10 minutes left on the final rise, preheat your oven to 190 degrees Celsius, that's 375 Fahrenheit or gas mark 5. I'm setting mine to 170 because my oven is fan assisted and it runs about 20 degrees hotter than indicated on the dial. Okay, and even before I take the cloth off you can see it has a fantastic rise. For a more professional look to the finished bread, I like to sprinkle a little flour over the loaf. Now I'll get it into the preheated oven and set the timer for 30 minutes. For even cooking, I like to turn mine around about 2/3 of the way through, but that's just my oven. It tends to cook a little hotter on one side. Your oven may be fine, but it won't harm the bread if you turn it round after 20 minutes. Right, that's the 30 minutes up and I'll get mine out of the oven. If you prefer a darker crust, you can leave it in for an extra 10 minutes if you like. Once it's out of the oven, remove the loaf from the tin straight away. And if you grease the tin properly at the start, it should come out no bother, just like mine has. Now, if you can, let it cool on a wire rack for about 30 minutes. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes, so I'll cut a couple of slices off and let you see what it's like on the inside. And as you can hear, it has a nice crust, and the inside is soft, it's light, airy and smells wonderful. Time to try a piece with some of my homemade butter. If you want to see how I make this butter, check out the video. I'll leave a link in the description or just click on the eye icon top right of the screen. And as you can imagine, the taste of this homemade bread is absolutely fantastic, and I hope you give it a try, and I'm pretty sure that you'll give it the thumbs up too. Well, thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe by hitting the circle above. If you do subscribe, activate the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel page. And by doing that, you'll be automatically notified every time I upload a new video. And in the meantime, here's a few of my other videos and playlists that you may want to watch. So, until the next time, be safe in the kitchen and bye for now.